Okay, so how are you doing today, Hannah?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good. Last week we met and you touched a little bit on your relationship with your dad and how that was. So did you want to talk about that more this session?
Yeah. As I said last week, I have a pretty big family. It's me, my mom, my dad, my twin sisters, and my brother Jake. I am the oldest child. When I was born, my mom had a hard time because I was the first kid. So my dad was constantly working in the city. He wasn't really around a lot. We moved from the city to Manalapan, and I was around my grandma a lot. I grew up with basically my mom and my grandma. So my dad didn't come into my life till around like 3 years old, 4 years old. So I didn't really have a strong connection with him from the beginning.
Okay.
That is different for my sisters and brother, though. They're all younger than me, so he's been around consistently, so they have a relationship with them.
Okay. How much younger? So how much the twins? They come after you?
They come after my brother. My brother is 14,
Okay.
and
So
my sisters are 11.
Okay. And so your dad ended up coming around later in your life, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
But he's been around longer for them. So what I'm hearing is, just make sure this is correct, that they have a strong relationship with him than you because he kind of stuck around a little bit. He was around more when they came
Yes,
into the picture.
I think that definitely contributes to it. When I was younger, I didn't believe so, but now I definitely see that my mom, I have such strong ties to my mom because she was always around when I was a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And that became like my single parent figure.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he wasn't around, I didn't have much of a connection or attachment. And it never really developed. He's been around since. He works. I'm still very close with my mom. We all live in the same house. They're more separated, though.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, I just never formed a connection with him. I did sports, but like my aunt would be my coach or my uncle. So we never really bonded over anything.
Mm-hmm.
We never really had anything in common.
So he lives in the same house as you do, like now?
Yes.
That's what I said. Okay.
He does live in the same house. My parents are separated, though.
So how does that work in your house? Is that difficult for you to or for like you and your siblings to kind of deal with him in the house even though they're separated? Like, do they get along? Or?
They get along to an extent. I mean, they're not officially separated. They have their own bedrooms now. So in that case, they're separated. We still do things as a family.
Mm-hmm.
It's been this way for a while, over 5 years now. I mean, I've always grown up not close to him, closer to my mom. So this has always been my family dynamic, more to have just a mother, single parent. So it never really affected me. I think out of all of us, it directly affects my brother the most because, I mean, my dad's around, but he's not really much of a sports guy. So my brother is 14 years old. He's going through that weird stage, and he's very attached to my mom. So I think it's very difficult for him not to have a father figure very involved.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like what I'm hearing is that you're almost worried in a sense, or just kind of you feel for him because like he's not your brother. You're like worried for your brother because he's in that weird stage like you said, and your dad's not fully there for him maybe, or just he doesn't connect with him as much. Is that right, what you're saying?
Yeah, I think worried is definitely a great way to describe the whole situation. I feel like when, at a very young age, my brother was born, I was 5 years old, and from that point on, I kind of took the other parent role on. So I was like a second mom when my mom wasn't around, to make their lunches, just provide comfort for them. Like, I gave them that sense of comfort. So I think watching my brother grow up and seeing that he doesn't have these things that maybe he necessarily should or would help him with his maturity and growth process, it does worry me because I feel like in some context I'm like his parent.
Yeah.
So even with my sisters, I'm very worried about them all the time. Like, make sure they get their homework done, which really isn't my responsibility, but it has always been like a role or job in my life that I've played since I could remember.
Yeah. So is your mom kind of like, do you feel like she's maybe not as involved with them, or you feel like you have to is that why you feel like maybe you need to take that on?
I think, personally, I think she's very involved, but she's also a nurse. So more like at night when they need help with homework, I'm more of that person that can provide them that help. I don't really mind it because I feel like it's what I owe to my mom for just giving me such a great foundation, providing everything I've ever needed. She's never said no to me. She's always made things work for me. So, I mean, I think about it now. When I was younger, I didn't put 2 and 2 together, but I think about it now as a single parent to be able to provide for 4 kids and to make sure they get to soccer on time, to make sure they all eat dinner, to make sure they all take showers. I mean, it's a big responsibility. One kid's a big responsibility. So I really look up to her, and I just feel like me helping her out isn't much of a burden. It's just kind of paying my dues for what she's given me.
Okay. Wow. So what I'm hearing is that she's a big, like almost like role model, and just you're very grateful for just how she has, been able to be that kind of rock for you, like in a sense, like a support system, like a very strong support system that's in your life. And so that just how strong she is kind of almost makes up for not maybe being so close with your dad. Do you feel that almost?
Yeah, like I'll talk about it with other people and they'll be like, how do you have no relationship with your father? Like, that's crazy. Doesn't that make you upset? Doesn't that make you feel this way? And I just feel like I'm so appreciative for the life that my mom gave me, and she's helped me so much with school, outside of school, financially, that I don't feel like I really missed out on much. I mean, I didn't have a male figure in my life, but essentially for what's important to me, I feel like she played both roles of what I needed. And I don't know, I just feel like it doesn't affect me because I was never missing out. I was always given what I needed and more. So
what I'm hearing is you felt like you received, you weren't missing like any amount of like love or care, and you just still don't feel that you maybe need that, and that you're comfortable where you are right now with just your mom, having that strong relationship with your mom and your siblings as well, and you don't really still feel like you necessarily need that relationship with your dad.
Yes, I think definitely it has not affected me emotionally in that aspect. I'm very happy with my life. I'm happy with who's in it. I have a very strong relationship with my mom, my sisters, and my brother, so that's what's very important to me. Although I think it has affected how I look at other men and my stereotype on men, just the way I see them, their participation in the family. I think how I think about them has a lot to do, and maybe I'm a little bit biased, so.
Okay, so that kind of affects how you see other men. That's interesting. So, okay, so we're gonna end here, and next week maybe we can touch on a little bit about your relationship with your dad and how that makes you like perceive other men in your other relationships, if you're comfortable with that.
Yes, thank you.
All right.